might be wondering, is this a proxy war? Is this not a proxy war? Well, here in plain sight is Adam Schiff in Congress telling you what it is.
The United States aids Ukraine and her people so that we can fight Russia over there and we don't have to fight Russia here.
Nearly a year in, the war in Ukraine has cost hundreds of thousands of lives and brought the world to the brink of, in President Joe Biden's own words, Armageddon. Alongside the literal battlefield has been a similarly bitter intellectual battle over the war's causes. Commentators have rushed to declare the long criticised policy of NATO expansion as irrelevant to the war's outbreak. Yet, a review of the public record and many dozens of diplomatic cables made publicly available via WikiLeaks shows that US officials were aware or were directly told over the span of years that expanding NATO was viewed by Russian officials well beyond Putin as a major threat and provocation, that expanding it to Ukraine was a particularly bright red line for Moscow, that it would inflame and empower hawkish nationalist parts of the Russian political spectrum, and that it could ultimately lead to war. And even conversationally, people that just watch the news remember that when Reagan and Gorbachev were talking about all this stuff way back in the 80s, it was understood that, hey, just let's chill, right, and we won't have a Cold War. It was sort of on the telly, where the telly used to be a little bit more honest. In a particularly prophetic set of warnings, US officials were told that pushing for Ukrainian membership in NATO would not only increase the chance of Russian meddling in the country, but risk destabilizing the divided nation, and that US and other NATO officials pressured Ukrainian leaders to reshape this unfriendly public opinion in response. All of this was told to US officials in both public and private by not just senior Russian officials going all the way up to the presidency, but by NATO allies, various analysts and experts, liberals, Russian voices critical of Putin, even sometimes US diplomats themselves. So there's no shortage of information and no shortage of proof that this is what's happened and that it was understood explicitly to be a threat. Sounds a little bit like a proxy war to me.